Welcome back to Watercolor Theory. Today we will be painting this tree at sunset for Arbor Day. This tree happens to be in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico, just north of Puerto Vallarta. And I took this photo myself in 2019 when my wife and I were living in Mexico. And this was at Christmas time. So this video is for you if you're wanting to paint a tree, obviously, but maybe you don't want to do all the color mixing. You want to just get the formation. And granted, this is just one kind of tree, but I show with a fan brush and regular round and quill brushes how to get the texture in there. This is for you if you're short on time. I painted the background in multiple colored washes, a variegated wash, I guess you would call it, and then let that dry. And each of those sections only took about 20 to 30 minutes. So I did that initial background wash, then I painted the water, and then I painted the tree and the walkway. So all said, it was less than an hour and a half of active painting time. And then the drying time is, the first wash was pretty wet, so that took about an hour to dry. So if you're short on time, but you just really want to get into painting, watercolor is a great way to do that because you can cover a lot of ground in a little amount of time. And also, once you've got your supplies, your cost isn't that much. So hopefully you find this video something to follow along with. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. I would love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. So in today's painting, I will be doing my favorite tree. It's for National Arbor Day. However, the tree is not in the United States, it's actually in Mexico. So I took this Christmas Eve 2019, and it's a favorite memory of mine, and I want to use it for Arbor Day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-wet the paper and kind of stretch it. I'm going to pre-wet it to not quite to the edges, let it sit and relax for a second, and then I'll put the tape down, and while it's still wet, I'll float in the colors I want to use. Here is the photo reference, photo I took, and sunset with the tree, and then I will do the background in very similar colors, and then the tree I won't do in black. I will actually do in kind of purples, dark purples and greens, and let those mix a little bit and hopefully create really energetic and vibrant painting. So I'm going to wet the paper, do all that stuff as I mentioned, and then I'll start laying in the colors. And again, I'm trying to come close to the colors that are on the photograph. Not exact, but close. Alright, so I have the initial wash done. It has a nice sparkle to it. You know, a lot of blues and violets and oranges and yellow, just a lot of colors dancing around each other. So it looks good, especially here in the middle. And next step will be to paint in the water where it's darker on the bottom. And where the walkway is, the pier, that's not technically a pier, where the walkway is going out and over here, I'm just going to go right through those with the waves because when I paint over that, it'll blend in. It's not worth trying to cut in. I'm going to go under it and then I'll go over it again. As far as the tree itself goes, I'll be using a couple of fan brushes, similar to this one, but I'll be using them instead of splattering. I'll be putting in the edges. So I will float in an area of color. I'll show you on the reference photo. So you can see there are areas of color, masses of the tree where there isn't any light coming through. So I'll float in a color there, and then I'll put in the tree branches and the foliage with the fan brush, and then touch that to that puddle and then let that blend. And I'll put in another little puddle and let that one blend. Not doing any kind of a drawing on here. It'll just be freestyle. I'll just be looking over at the photograph. But for now, I'm going to do the water, and I'm going to start dark on the bottom, and I'll just keep adding water in as I move down, and that'll make it a little bit lighter at the horizon. But I do want just a little bit of a line at the horizon. That's the only drawing I did on this paper, was just a few dashes of pencil just to show where that's going to be. So I'll do that, and then we'll go over colors that I'm going to use to try to get that tree. It'll probably be a mixture of permanent mauve, ultramarine blue, cobalt teal, and that might be it. Maybe a little bit of quinacridone magenta. But let me get this water in first, and we'll get back to that issue. All right, wash number 2 has dried on the bottom. It's got enough contrast between the two. Now I've mixed up a couple of colors, the cobalt teal and quinacridone magenta for the center of the tree, or those clusters, and then indanthrone blue and cobalt teal for the branches. It's pretty small where I tested those colors. So you've got a little bit of violet in the middle, like the sunlight's back there kind of making that glow, that mass glow, and then these little guys are, the branches are a little bit darker. So hopefully that doesn't look weird being like that with the glow here and then the darkness on the outside. It is pretty much a silhouette in the photograph, but I want to give this a go and see how that works out. So I'm gonna get started. right, so I've got the initial wash done for the tree and the walkway and the other walkway. I'm just going to put in a few little accents here and there. The ultramarine mixture that I put in didn't quite bleed out as much, so I'm going to put in something there to kind of break that up a little bit. And then, you know, some branches down here, and maybe like implied rocks along here. But other than that, it's pretty much done. I'm pretty happy with it. So it'll be probably a total of an hour and 15 minutes to get a nice little painting that would be great at a beach house or as a gift to somebody, whatever. So probably going to use the indanthrone blue and mix that with, oh boy, that one I probably want to mix it with a little bit of this Pyrrole red just to gray it out a little bit. And right here I've got like a little band of color going there. I don't want to disturb that, so probably have a little bit here, a little bit there. So gonna mix up some paints and then we'll get into that.